Today we're checking out this guy right here. This is a 3-channel wired in-ear monitor system from Xvive. This is a really cool system to have a very minimal way to have 3 different channels or instruments or things that you want to hear in your in-ear monitors. This is what you use to control it, and then this is what you use to send the signal. You plug into this guy right here, and it has 3 XLR cables, and it runs audio over a Cat5 cable, which is really cool. A lot of other wired in-ear monitor systems or headphone amps have 1 input. Some of them have 2. This is a really clean way to have 3 different inputs. It can run off of 2 AAA batteries or 9-volt power supply. And yes, you can set this to stereo if you want to, and I'll go over some of the configuration options. And I'm going to go over how it works, how to set it up, how I've been using it in some of my bands, and we're going to see if this is something that's right for you. Many thanks to Xvive for sending this over and for sponsoring the video. As always, all the opinions in this video are my own. One of the bands I play in, my drummer is now using this as his main in-ear monitor system. We've replaced the old system. Also, Xvive have been kind enough to send me 2 of them so I can do a giveaway to one of you guys. So be sure to stick around so you can find out how to win one of these for yourself. That's enough of the intro. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and let's check out the Xvive PX system. So you get quite a few things with this system. I'm going to break it down. So this is the PXA. This is the main unit that lives on you. You can see that you have 3 different knobs to adjust 3 different mixes or instruments of whatever you want to hear in your in-ear monitors. I'll give you suggestions of different combinations that you could use later and the way that we use it, but very nice and easy. Up here on the top, this is where you have a spot where you connect your headphones or your in-ear monitors. And then here is where you twist in order to turn it on and adjust the volume up or down. You can see over here, you can set it to battery or PoE. If you're using batteries, set it to battery, obviously. And if you're going to use it with a 9-volt power supply on the other unit, I'll show you how to do that here in a second. And in that case, you want to switch it over to PoE. But for most of this video, I'm going to do it with the battery. Over here on the side is where you can open this up, and it does run off of 2 AAA batteries. It does say that the batteries can run up to 5 hours. Wish it was a tiny bit longer, but if you do need it longer, using the power supply is actually pretty easy. And then in here, you actually have some dip switches. It's kind of hard to see, but this is how you're going to determine if you want one of the inputs to go to just the left, another one just to the right, or both. So if you have them up, that means it will go to the left or right. And if you have them flipped down, they will not go to that side of the stereo earbuds. So for example, I just flip these around a little bit. For channel 1, I set that only to the left and turned right off. For channel 2, I turned the left off and the right side on. And then on channel 3, I left it both in the left and the right. This can be helpful if you want to get like a stereo in-ear monitor mix, channels 1 and 2, and then something different in mono on channel 3. Or you could just have 3 different mono mixes. It's up to you. It's very nice that they give you the flexibility to choose how you want to use this. So that's the PXA. That's what lives on you, and that's what you're going to use to control it. Now, this is the PXB, and this is where you're going to plug in the signal of whatever signal you're trying to get. So you can see it has this side over here, which has a RJ45 port to run a Cat5 cable between the 2, and that's how you're going to connect them. Very cool that it connects over Cat5. Then you can do longer cable runs and just single cable runs instead of having to have 3 cables. A very cool design. But you can see on the other side, this is where you have the 3 XLRs to go to the 3 different knobs on the PXA. So whatever you want to control with the first knob, plug into this one, and you can see that they're labeled 2 and 3. So for example, if I wanted to have vocals in 1, backing tracks in 2, and then click track in 3, that's how I would plug these in, and then you can control it from the PXA on each of those. Pretty cool. And then of course, you also have this right here, and this is where you can plug in a 9-volt center negative 2 amp power supply. That is not included. You'll have to get it separately. I will link to one down below in the description. And that will send the power over the Cat5 cable. And they also do ship with these XLR to 1/4-inch adapters. And we actually use 2 of these when we use these. But this is nice if you need to get a 1/4-inch signal instead of an XLR signal. And it also does ship with a 25-foot Cat5 cable. And one of them plugs into the PXB and the other one plugs into the PXA. 1 cable to connect the 2 and get 3 separate channels along with power to the PXA device. Very smart design. Of course, if you don't need it to be that long, you can also just use a standard Cat5 cable or shielded Cat5 cable at the length that you prefer, which is also very helpful. And that's basically it. Really cool design. So like I mentioned, we're using this in one of my bands. This is an example of the way that we use it, but feel free to do what makes sense for you. So we play with backing tracks and we use the single cable method. So coming out of an iPad, we have the click track pan to one side and the tracks pan to the other side. If you're unfamiliar with how to set up backing tracks, I do go over that in this entire video here. But just know out of this cable, we get the tracks, and out of the other cable, we get the click. We have a dual direct box. This is the one that we use. I'm going to plug the backing tracks one here into the left one. I'm going to plug the click track here into the right input. Just notice that there are the through ports right on top, and I'll show you why that's important here in a second. Wherever you want the click to go, you would output that here, and then wherever you want the tracks to go, it would go out XLR here. That's normally how you would use a direct box. But again, they have these through ports right here. So we use these to give our drummer a direct connection to the click and the tracks. That way he just has one knob that he needs to turn if he needs to hear more click. Drummer has to hear the click. That's the most important part. So using the Xvive system, this is channel 1. I'm going to plug that into the click through right here. This is number 2, and this is going to go into the through port on the tracks. And then this right here, number 3, I'm going to send him a full in-ear monitor mix from my in-ear monitor rack. If you want to see my in-ear monitor rack, although this video is a little bit older now, but I do have a video going over that as well. But I'm going to send him an in-ear monitor feed, and that's going to be right here. So then once he connects to the PXA system, now we have it set up. If he needs more click, one knob turns up the click. If he wants more tracks, he can turn up input 2. And if he wants just more of his overall mix of all the other instruments, turn up number 3. Again, this is just the way that we're using it. You can do this in many different ways. You could have your vocals, your guitar, and then everybody else. If you're an acoustic solo performer, you could have vocals, acoustic guitar, and a click track if you played a click track. You could set 1 and 2 to be a stereo mix. You can get a stereo mix. And then 3 could either be a click track if you're a drummer, or your vocals if you're a singer. The main way I could see this being used is number 1 is your main instrument, and then 2 and 3 are kind of side instruments. So as me as a guitar player, I would have input 1 as my guitar, input 2 as the click track, and then input 3 as everything else. Again, whatever you want to do, just really nice that you have 3 different options and easy control to adjust all of them. Here's just a quick audio sample that I came up with to demo this. So I have this plugged in to my Behringer mixer. I'm sending 3 separate signals. Channel 1 is going to be the bass track, and it is only going to be in the left ear. The backing tracks I have going to channel 2, and that will only be in the right ear. And then click track I have going to both ears on channel 3. You won't be able to hear the panning if you're not on headphones or speakers. But you can see right now I have a full mix. Again, channel 3 is just the click track. Channel 1 is the bass. And channel 2 is the backing tracks. So now I can start making a mix. Say I want the click a lot louder. Now I have it. One knob to turn up the click. Very, very helpful. As far as price, as of the time of shooting, this is currently listed at $129. And if you do decide that this system is right for you, there are purchase links down below in the description for you to check this out for yourself. Before I get to my experience with this, I'm going to go over some pros and cons. If you are finding this video helpful, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button and feed those YouTube algorithm gods for me. It truly does help out the channel. As far as the pros, I love how absolutely clean this is. It's just more or less of 3 different inputs. It's so easy to understand. It's just, do I want more of the click, less of the drums, etc. It's so easy to use. I love that it works over the Cat 5, so it goes from this to this. It would be kind of annoying to have 3 different cables going into something like this, so using a Cat 5 cable just cleans it up so much, at least on this end. I love that it has options for battery powered or the power supply, and specifically with the power supply, I'm glad they decided to put it on this end, because it would be pretty annoying if you had this like on your belt or on your music stand or something like that. You would have to have a Cat 5 cable as well as an input for power. Instead, it's just on this one, so that's off to the side. It's not even around you, and this is much more cleaner, which I really like. The main con, and I don't know if you've noticed this as I've been demoing this, I keep putting it up like this because, you know, this is where the volume knob is up here and your headphones go up here. What do you notice about that? It's upside down. So this is 1, 2, and 3. This way is 3, 2, and 1, and it's flipped upside down. Now, I got this early, so I got this before it was released. Xvive sent this over for me to check out. So maybe it's just because it's a new model or I got one of the early models. I hope they flip that around. Not a deal breaker, just a little bit goofy. And it's tripping me out to have to hold it like this every time I do a demo. As far as one of the other cons, And this is funny because I've said how clean this is. This is really clean. However, on this end of the stage, it can get a little bit messy, especially if you do what I do, where we have, the direct box kind of near our drummer, and then I'm sending the signal from our in-ear monitor rack, which is usually far away. It can get a little bit messy with all of this. I don't think that's really a big con because it's so clean here. That's what's important, I think. So it just might get a little bit messy. That was like the only other con that I could really think of. One tip that I learned while setting this up, so I played a show recently with a band called Popstalgia. Really fun band. There's a lot to that show. There's a lot of choreography, dances, multiple singers. And I let our drummer use this because he had to sing a few of the songs. So my plan with this is I was going to give him click, the full mix, and then his vocals. So on any of the songs, he needed to turn up his vocals. Now the thing is out of the vocals, we went into our in-ear monitor rack splitter, in this case an Art S8 three-way, and then I went into the third cable on this one. So the idea was to give him that one. However, that is going out at mic level. So when he cranked it all the way up and it didn't change anything. If you don't know what the difference is between mic line and instrument level, I have a video going over that. But mic level is very, very quiet. You need some sort of way to boost that signal. And this is not enough to boost that signal. You need to send like a line level signal to it. That is something that I learned as well. So if you're trying to send a microphone just directly to this, you might have that as a problem because if it's going out mic level, it's not going to change very much when you turn it up. So who is this for? First of all, I really think drummers can benefit from this. It's super helpful just to have the drummer turn up the click if they need it. If they're getting a full in-ear monitor mix or a drum mix or something like that, just being able to turn up the click if they need to hear it is really valuable. I also think keyboard players can benefit from this too. I could see them like leaving this just like on a music stand or something like that, or on the side of their keyboard and getting like a stereo mix and a click track and be able to turn it up. Or just basically any other stationary musicians, like a bass player who kind of hangs out in the back. That's also very possible. I could see churches really benefiting from this. I think this is a good way for like a church on a budget who needs to hear a mix. If you do decide to go that route, they do also have the PX hub. I don't have this, so I haven't tried it, but there's a way to get 5 of these from one hub. But if you did, vocals, instruments, and then click and cues, I keep flipping it upside down. So all the vocals are on one, all the band is on 2, and then the click and cues are on 3. That's also an option. I'll link to that PX hub if you want to find out more about it. So I definitely could see churches benefiting from this. But overall, I think it's a really cool design. I really love audio over Cat5 cables. And yeah, especially if you don't want to spend the money to get wireless in-ear monitors, I think this is a really great option. So many thanks to Xvive for sending this over. I really appreciate it. If you guys found this video helpful, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button. It's a free way to support the channel via the YouTube algorithm gods, and I would appreciate it. Also, consider subscribing if you want to see more videos like this in the future. But like I mentioned, Xvive was kind enough to send over 2 of these. One of them I've given to my drummer, and the other one I'm going to give to one of my subscribers. So in order to win the giveaway, 2 things. First of all, you have to be a subscriber. So if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And then second, you have to leave a comment down below, and you have to use the magic phrase. You can say whatever you want in the comment section, just as long as at some point you say the magic phrase, "My spoon is too big." If you're my age, you know exactly where that came from. You only have 24 hours to enter the giveaway, so I will announce the winner tomorrow. I will announce the winner on this date right here. Please just remember, do not respond to scammers. Scammers sometimes show up when I do giveaways. Just remember, I will never, ever, ever ask you for money, not for shipping, nothing like that. If anybody messages you, says that they're me, and they start asking you for money, that is 100% a scam, no questions asked. Please do not respond to scammers. 2 other videos I'm going to check out. I did review the wireless in-ear monitor system from Xvive. It's actually a really solid wireless in-ear monitor system. It's on 2.4, and I usually am really hesitant on 2.4 wireless gear. This one has been rock solid. So check out my video on that. It's a pretty cool system. And also Xvive has a really cool system that has a battery-powered way to get phantom power. I've used this at quite a few gigs, especially just to get like overheads or something like that. It's a pretty cool system and it works incredibly well. So you can check out both of those videos by clicking the links on your screen now. Thank you guys again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at ScottYuleMusic. If you guys have any other cool music gear you want me to check out, please leave them as a comment down below. Thank you guys again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.